Now we are coming to the presidential forms of government. When there is a separation of power between the legislature and the executive, and the latter is not responsible before the former, the executive is termed as presidential executive, and the system of government is called the presidential system. In such a system, the head of the state is president. He is also the head of the government and he is his own prime minister. Scientist that Gettel, he said, presidential government is that form in which the chief executive is independent of the legislature as to his tenure and to a large extent as to his policies and acts. In this system, the nominal head of the state is also the real executive. Now we are coming to the presidential forms of government. Consist of head of the state, and he is the real executive and he is the head of the government. So the features, look into the features of this, you can understand about the presidential forms of government. Point 1, single unified executive, that is no difference between nominal executive and the real executive. In a presidential government, the head of the state is both the nominal executive as well as the real executive. He is both the head of the state as well as of the government. The real executive, that is prime minister as the head of the government and the cabinet. Point 2, separation of powers. Separation of powers between the legislature and the executive. In presidential forms of government, the executive is independent of the legislature. The membership of the two is incompletable. If X is a member of the legislature, he cannot be continuously a member of executive. Legislature and the executive are two separate and coordinate organs of the government. Point 3, fixed tenure of the executive and legislature. In the presidential forms of government, the executive has the fixed and definite tenure of the expiry of which it cannot be removed or voted out of power by the legislature. Point 4, cabinet works as an advisory body of the president. In the presidential system, the cabinet consists of the heads of various departments who are appointed by the president. All the powers are exercised by the president and the cabinet performs the function of giving advice to him. Point number 5, responsibility of the ministers to the president. In the presidential system, the ministers are individually responsible to the president, who can remove them as well with or without assessing any reason. Members, if little responsibility of the legislature, however, the legislature can exercise some indirect control over the ministers by continuing invigilation the committees for investigating the functioning of various government departments. Point 6. The cabinet is not essential. In the presidential system, the president has the right to appoint any person to head any government department. He can appoint person belonging to different political parties or men of any high official. He is the right to freely chosen and appoint his term of membership and other high officials. So we can understand or analyzing the main features of the presidential system. Dr. Graner has well observed the distinguishing characteristics of the presidential system is the almost complete separation of executive and legislature departments and independence to each against the other, especially in respect to their policies and powers and the duration of their tenures. Thank you.